An interesting story is being presented to men and women in homes and offices all over America. Through a booklet, facts about vitamins, minerals, and Nutrilite food supplement. And the person who presents the story is a member of your own community, your Nutrilite distributor. The factual story has its beginning in one of the loveliest spots in America. Approximately 100 miles east of the city of Long Beach, California, are some of America's most beautiful valleys. Here, the tall, majestic peaks of the San Jacinto Mountains tower above one of the richest valleys in the entire West. Acre after acre, apricots and peaches adorn the valley like living jewels. And here is the rich and hearty green of alfalfa. Many years ago, farmers in this beautiful area found that the soil and climate were ideal for raising the finest alfalfa. And only the finest will do here, because this is part of one of the famous Nutrilite products, alfalfa farms. But it is interesting to see what steps are taken to ensure such a high-quality alfalfa. A very important step is the preparation of a high-grade compost to use on the soil. This machine is called a fox chopper. After the top alfalfa has been cut for dehydration, this machine cuts a further portion of the stalk, this to be used as part of the compost. Raw materials used in the compost include, in addition to the alfalfa cuttings, animal manures, limestone rock, phosphate rock, red rock, and other mineral compounds. When the proper ingredients for a compost pile have been assembled, they are loaded by this power lift into a specially constructed mixer. As the materials are spread, they are thoroughly mixed to ensure the most uniform decomposition. After several weeks, when the compost has gone through a period of desired decomposition, it is turned. Again, the natural bacteria found in the various materials start the necessary decomposition. And in several more weeks, these piles of compost are ready for use. During these processes, the compost is kept moist at all times. When the compost is ready for use, it is deposited in liberal amounts on the alfalfa fields. The compost is used in conjunction with hybrid earthworms cultivated at the Nutrilite farms. The earthworms aerate the soil and help to work the compost into the ground. The effectiveness of the compost as a fertilizer is shown by the quality and size of the fruit and flowers at the Nutrilite farms, which have been grown with this specially prepared mixture. After being cut and thoroughly composted, the fields are irrigated by overhead sprinklers, and each field is thoroughly watered twice between cuttings. Good soil, special compost, proper irrigation, sunshine, and fresh air produce this top-grade alfalfa, now ready for dehydration. When cutting for dehydration, Nutrilite Products takes only the upper few inches of the plant. The remainder is then cut for the compost piles. As the alfalfa is harvested, it is carried up by the conveyor belt and dropped into a wagon. Thus, the alfalfa is cut, gathered, and loaded in one operation without touching the ground, and is quickly taken from the field to the dehydration area. The process of dehydration is an interesting one. Let's follow it. The fresh alfalfa is put into this chopper and is cut into pieces small enough to ensure quick, easy, and efficient dehydration. The chopped alfalfa is then carried mechanically to this tray loader, which spreads the alfalfa on trays evenly and in the right amount. Workmen then load the trays into a drying rack and check to make sure the trays are properly loaded for dehydration. As the racks of fresh alfalfa are put into the dehydrator, racks of alfalfa which have been dehydrated under rigidly controlled temperature are removed. When the dehydrated alfalfa is removed from the dehydrator, it is emptied into a large hopper. It then goes through the hammer mill to bring it to a flour-like fineness and is poured from the hoppers into barrels. The select watercress and parsley, which are contained in Nutrilite food supplement, are processed here in the same manner. When a barrel is full, it is weighed and the weight recorded. And at the same time, the container is flushed with a harmless inert gas. The barrel is then sealed. The purpose of the inert gas is to displace air, which has an oxidizing effect on the alfalfa, watercress, and parsley meal. The number put on this barrel is one of the steps of constant control, quality control. This is but one of the accurate records kept even long after the finished product has been eaten, possibly at some far distant point. The alfalfa, watercress, and parsley meal is now ready for the next phase in the long Nutrilite process. Sealed, numbered, and recorded, the containers are sent by truck to the processing plant. Buena Park, California is a thriving community some 20 miles northeast of Long Beach. Here in Buena Park is the home of Nutrilite Products Incorporated. The Nutrilite plant is large and modern. The scope of activity here is indicated by the amount of space required, so that many phases of the Nutrilite operation may be performed within the confines of this one area. The size of this storage building gives us an idea of the activities of the entire plant. Materials used in compounding Nutrilite are stored here until the Nutrilite Control Laboratory has checked and approved their quality and potency to ensure that they meet the high standards set by Nutrilite products. This building is the Extraction Laboratory. Only Carl Renborg and his immediate assistants are admitted to this building, for these exclusive extraction processes are a closely guarded secret. Here is produced the exclusive Nutrilite concentrate. This is a concentrate chemically and mechanically extracted from alfalfa, watercress, parsley, and yeast, and is found only in Nutrilite food supplement. You should meet Carl Renborg. He is the man who developed Nutrilite food supplement. He has devoted many years to study and work in the field of nutrition. The Nutrilite concentrate, processed by methods known only to Nutrilite and obtainable only in Nutrilite products, was developed by Mr. Renborg. This is where the Nutrilite capsule compound, composed of the Nutrilite concentrate and added crystalline vitamins and vitamin concentrates, is mixed. All possible care is taken to ensure the highest quality finished product. The Nutrilite concentrate is placed in the mixer, together with the added crystalline vitamins and vitamin concentrates in proper proportion. A harmless inert gas is introduced into the mixture to prevent oxidation. After thorough mixing and blending, the Nutrilite compound is ready for encapsulating. The encapsulating process takes place here. This machine places empty capsules into a circular metal disc. The capsules are automatically uncapped. The machine then fills the lower part of the capsule with the Nutrilite compound, which has been fed into a hopper on the machine. The disc is weighed and the weight and the batch number recorded by the operator. Thus, we see another step in the rigid control exercised by Neutralite products. The filled disc is now returned to the machine for capping of the capsules, and the finished capsules are ready for packaging. Several times during the processing of each batch, samplings are made, and an extremely sensitive and delicate scale is used to ensure the correct weight for every batch of material processed. Thus, more rigid control. Samples also go to the Quality Control Laboratory for analysis to make certain that the Neutralite rigid standards are maintained. Processing of the minerals is also done with great care. The minerals derived from alfalfa, watercress, and parsley by Neutralite processes and the added minerals used in Neutralite food supplement are here carefully weighed and measured. Another step in the rigid control. All the mineral ingredients are placed in this machine and thoroughly mixed. To ensure proper consistency, the mixture is spread on trays and placed in a drying room. Following the drying process, the mixture is placed in an oscillator, which sifts the material into a fine granular form ready for tableting. The mineral mixture is fed into a hopper in the tableting machine and is drawn down onto a revolving plate which contains indentations, each of which is filled automatically. Two sets of plungers work together to compress the mixture into tablet form under several tons of pressure per square inch. And here again is further evidence of Neutralite's constant control. Throughout this stage of the operation, the tablets are sampled frequently and weighed on these very delicate scales. The weight and batch number are recorded, and samples also go to the Quality Control Laboratory for analysis to assure that the high standards are maintained. When it has been determined that the mineral tablets and the vitamin capsules have met the rigid Neutralite requirements, both are brought to this room for packaging. The filled capsules are emptied into hoppers, from which they are drawn by slotted trays into bottles. Thus the count is automatic. This operation also permits a last visual inspection. As the filled bottles move along the line, a special machine stuffs cotton into each bottle to ensure a firm pack. To guard against oxidation, this machine draws off the air and forces a harmless inert gas into each bottle. The bottles are then sealed airtight automatically by a machine that firmly affixes the screw cap. The bottles are now ready for labeling. Here the final operation takes place. Labels are affixed to the bottles mechanically, and the bottles are now ready for packaging. The mineral tablets are emptied into a hopper and then are fed into automatic counters. The counter releases the tablets into cellophane bags, which are then placed in boxes. A last visual inspection is made here also. bottle of capsules and the box of tablets are packed into one box. And once again, we notice that each is identified with its batch number. The package is then sealed in cellophane, packed 1 dozen to a carton, and the operation at the Nutrilite Products plant is complete. From the time the barreled alfalfa, watercress, and parsley meal left the Nutrilite Products farms, through the extracting, adding of minerals, crystalline vitamins, and vitamin concentrates, measuring, boxing, and weighing, a constant check has been made and a constant control maintained. Headquarters for the complete control plan are the Nutrilite Products Laboratories, also located in Buena Park. The activity of the Nutrilite Laboratories is divided into research and control. The equipment here is some of the most recently developed and most unique in its field. The finest and most definitive mineral analysis is ensured by the use of the spectrograph, invaluable in the type of analysis carried on in the laboratory. The Nutrilite Laboratory is not only evidence of the thoroughness and care which is lavished on the preparation of Nutrilite food supplement, but it is a constant reminder of the unceasing efforts in the direction of further progress in the field of food supplementation made by this highly competent, carefully trained staff. Let's return now to the Nutrilite plant. Here we have seen the preparation of the Nutrilite food supplement, the ultimate destination of which is your home. Here in Long Beach, California, are located the offices of Meitinger and Castleberry. Meitinger and Castleberry Incorporated is the exclusive international distributor of Nutrilite food supplement. This building and the large, highly trained staff are needed to meet the tremendous demand for Nutrilite food supplement. These young women are handling the correspondence made necessary by the hundreds of thousands of men and women who avail themselves of Nutrilite food supplement. And in turn, the entire sales organization was made possible by the founders and chief executives of Meitinger and Castleberry Incorporated, Mr. Lee Meitinger and Dr. William Castleberry. These two men provide leadership and inspiration to the many thousands of distributors of Nutrilite food supplement. So we bring to a close the story of the preparation of Nutrilite food supplement, from its start in the alfalfa fields of the beautiful Hemet Valley, through the precise scientific compounding of the Nutrilite concentrate and the added crystalline vitamins, vitamin concentrates, and minerals at Nutrilite Products Incorporated, through the unceasing research and analysis at the Nutrilite Laboratory, through each step of rigid control which assures you of the greatest accuracy and the highest quality. Nutrilite, truly a distinguished product among food supplements.
Hello, everyone. That was Marvin Miller. A couple people in the comments on Facebook and YouTube both said, that sounds like Marvin Miller. Good call. Wonderful voiceover talent. I'm Skip Alzheimer. I collect old educational films under the name AV Geeks. We have an archive of over 27,000 films, and I'm stuck at home, like many of you are, and so I've decided to show you some of the films that we have that we've digitized. We've digitized probably 3,000 of the 27,000. And so at lunch, I decided it was a great time to kind of sit down and not look at the news and watch old 16mm films while you chew. And for me, sipping coffee. Anyhow, so some of you have been following me. This is into the 5th week of us doing this. And Yesterday, some of you noticed that I was not there to segue, and it was because I had gotten information that a tree had fallen on the archive. And I went and actually looked at it. Was very, 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 very lucky. Basically, another tree had caught the first tree, and so what I had are limbs that are on my roof that bent a couple of shingles, but there was no breaking the roof. And this is something I can probably clean up on the roof. I mean, I'll have to call tree people to deal with the big tree that has fallen, but I can do a little bit of this on my own, I hope. We'll see. I have somewhere, I think there's a chainsaw safety film. I don't think it's mine, though. I think it belongs to somebody else. Anyhow, so that was From the Ground Up, which is a beautiful, beautiful film made for Nutrilite. Nutrilite was is a nutritional supplement company that got acquired by Amway and still exists in spite of claims of fraud, nutritional fraud, and multi-level marketing shenanigans. Some people have pointed out that the DeVos estate, of which Betsy DeVos is part of, they sell Nutrilite because they basically own Amway, and they acquired Nutrilite. What is great about this film is it's very much like a lot of the other food manufacturing films that I have. It shows the wholesomeness of the product. It shows the science of measuring, the science of quality control. It shows the beautiful assembly line footage. And it's all to give you a sense of that this is professional and this is high quality. This is not quackery. And, you know, some people will call into question the whole value of nutritional supplements. I have a doctor friend of mine who said that we had the most vitamin-rich urine of any society in the world because we have so many fortified vitamins in our foods that our body just doesn't process. But, you know, that's not what we're here for to discuss. What we're here to discuss is the safety situations that a styrofoam ham can face in a factory situation. This is On Every Hand.
This is a truly remarkable device. It can button, zip, tie. It can pull, twist, turn. It can touch, feel, examine. It can wave, indicate, talk. It can shift, reach, manipulate. It can push, lift, carry. It can press buttons. It can sort. It can mail. It can nail. It can strum, pick, hit. And every day, this remarkable device, the human hand, helps make a living, a very good living, for millions of people in thousands of different ways. Hands work efficiently and productively with the tiniest instruments and with great, powerful machinery to do tremendous jobs. Hands get into close quarters. Hands are right where the action is. Hands work in intimate proximity to many otherwise very useful machines and materials that are capable of destroying or mutilating them in one senseless moment. There are several specific kinds of danger in most work situations. Each kind deserves the greatest respect and understanding. First, there is the shear type of machine or situation, a guillotine for hands. It chops hands or fingers right off. A Among the common examples are paper cutters, cleavers, even the common scissors is in this class. A pair of heavy, hard-edged objects can pass close together and become a shear. A hand or finger in the gap may be chopped off. Once you know what to look for, you'll discover examples of the shear around your work situation. You'll soon learn to recognize and respect this type of hand and finger hazard. The next specific type of danger is the rotating motion. It may have a horizontal axis, or a vertical axis, or be on an angle. It may have a toothed, spiked, bristling, or jagged edge that can cut into fingers or hands. It may have a sharp point or sharpened spiral sides that can cut right through a hand. It may have irregular projections that can come around and hit fingers and hands, hard enough to break them. It may be able to catch a finger or hand and mutilate it. The rotating or spinning hazard is a common one in many places of work. You'll be able to spot this danger and keep its hand-destroying possibilities in mind. Don't get too familiar with spinning fan blades, small ones or big ones. They can cause a disabling injury. A third specific type of hazard to hands is the in-running nip. It grabs fingers and hands to crush them and tear them up. Watch for the dangers of in-running nip points in gears or any place that you find material being rolled or wound up. Wherever there are parallel rolls or shafts turning inward together, you have the danger of the in-running nip. It's the old ringer action. Watch for the dangers in belts and pulleys, chains and sprockets, racks and pinions, and other similar drive or conveyor situations. Learn to recognize and respect the grabbing power of the in-running nip, a menace to your hands. The fourth specific type of hazard to hands is the smashing action. A useful servant to man, it does what it is supposed to do, but it is certainly no friend to fingers or hands. That's why it is usually so closely and ingeniously guarded. A smashing machine can't sense the difference between raw stock and flesh and blood. Even if it could, there's no way for it to stop in time. Just doing its work, it can destroy a hand beyond repair, beyond any further usefulness to anyone. Learn to identify all the types of smashing machines in your work situation. Make sure you know what guards are supposed to be working on the machine. Ask for specific information about the guards and the rules for safe operation before you get your hands near the machine. Know what you're doing. Never take anything for granted. A variation of the smashing machine hazard is the pinch point. It is an ever-present danger to hands. Fingers and hands that get into the pinch point can be painfully squeezed, smashed, or broken. Every doorway or fixed object is a hazard when moving or carrying a heavy load. Just trying to put a heavy object down with your hands in the wrong place can cause a painful, disabling accident. Think ahead. Keep your hands where they won't be dangerously pinched. With just a small movement, a pair of heavy drums can crush fingers. But hands can be hurt in ways that do not involve machines. Acids, steam, fire, corrosives, sub-zero processes all have their useful roles to play in modern manufacturing, trades, and services. But unprotected hands simply can't live in contact with them. They have the power to burn, freeze, disfigure, or destroy fingers and hands. Know what sort of materials you are working with. Know what their effect may be on unprotected hands. Make sure you use the right kind of hand protection if your job should require it, even for short periods of time. In just one thoughtless moment, the damage may be done for a lifetime. Science is developing more and more remarkable substitute devices. But there's nothing quite like the human hand in its original, healthy, perfect state. Never try to get past the guards on machinery. Shortcuts can be costly. Take a second to turn off or disconnect the power when you adjust, clean, or oil a machine. Take off rings and metal watch bands or bracelets when you work with machines or electricity. Use a brush to sweep away scrap or shavings, not your hands. Get treatment right away for any cut or tear or break in the skin. Know when and when not to wear gloves while working. Wash up with soap and water or hand cleaners that will not damage your skin. Your life will be so much better if you never find out how much you can't do with disabled hands. Mutilated hands can sometimes be repaired and rebuilt, but not just like new. In countless ways, your hands are essential to your good living. Learn to take care of them as if you really appreciated them.
That poor styrofoam hand. It's so great. My favorite, the image that still resonates with me is that little makeshift chopper, like chop, 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 chop. So great. Yeah. So one of the things I've been trying to do for lunch is show films that have some sort of food tie-in. This next film is something that I showed at the Orange Show in Houston, Texas. I wore a shirt for that this week. Somebody was asking about. And it was a young man's tribute to the orange. And when this all clears up, I recommend, if you're ever in Houston, to go check it out because it's beautiful. It's an amazing space. It's an outsider theme park in a way. It has all these kind of things that are related to the orange. And so I did a show that was about oranges, about clowns and lying because of a t-shirt that I got from the Orange Show. So here's Orange, Fruit of Life.
Once upon a time, long, long ago, on the south, there was a little patch of ground, no bigger than this. This small patch of ground was blessed with rain and bright sunshine. One day, a miracle occurred. The first orange was born. While the sun smiled gently down, the little orange tree grew, and its seeds were carried far and wide. Thus, the orange tree multiplied and spread throughout the land. And before you can say Marco Polo, the orange had become a part of life, and the fame of this delicious, health-giving fruit spread throughout all Asia with the help of trading caravans, Phoenician sailors, Roman soldiers, and the Crusaders. 5,000 years passed as this wonder fruit was carried from the Orient to India, to Persia, to to northern Africa, and finally to Spain. In 1493, on his second trip to the New World, Columbus brought several varieties of citrus to Hispaniola, and the Spanish, who like sweet things, spread its glory around the Caribbean. In 1579, the good ship Clementina sailed into St. Augustine, Florida, bearing proudly to our shores that golden treasure, the orange. Here in this historic setting is the oldest budded orange grove in America. It was here, in and around St. Augustine, Florida, during the days of Spanish rule, that the orange had its beginning on this continent. The 16th century is remembered for many gifts to the New World, but few can compare with the enjoyment and good health this golden fruit has passed on from generation to generation since its original planting here in the year 1579. Nurtured by the rich Florida sunshine and pampered by her gentle winters, these first plantings prospered and spread, following the sun into the nearby wilderness, home of our first Americans. The Indian, proud master of the wilderness, the original, played a throughout the land which was to become the state of... Indeed, the Indian, whose reverend son is legend, honored the orange with the supreme compliment of his race, bestowing upon it the title, Sundrop, believing that as the sun was the giver of life, the orange was the fruit of life, and therefore a part of the glorious sun itself, a sundrop. Years passed, taking with them the glory of the Florida red man, leaving wild orange groves as his living monument. By 1800, these plantings centered around St. Augustine, Tampa Bay, and along the St. Johns River. 1821 saw the end of Spanish rule in the New World. When Florida was annexed by the young United States, settlers from the north began the rapid expansion of citrus culture. Before the Civil War, these early growers first shipped fruit by boat for sale in northern cities. The close of the Civil War marked the beginning of a rapid development for Florida citrus. In 1886, the crop reached for the first time a volume of 1 million boxes. Production had reached 5 million boxes when the Great Freeze of 1895 wrecked the industry. By the next year, production had dropped back to only 150,000 boxes. It looked as though the orange was not to bless the young nation. The gay 90s was a decade of despair for the orange. The northern section of Florida was finished as a major citrus area. The industry moved to central Florida. It was not until 1910 that the Florida crop again reached 5 million boxes. From there, it continued to grow until in 1920, more than 10 million boxes were harvested. Nevertheless, only with the birth of the 20th century did it appear the industry might permanently recover. Yes, the orange has come a long, long way since its birth on that plain in Asia so many centuries ago. In the 30s, the orange was becoming an accepted part of the American way of life. But it was not until 1945 that the orange industry broke loose from the restraint imposed by seasons and perishability. The development of frozen orange concentrate by Minute Maid overnight captured the sun god contained in this nerve throughout the year. With the advent of modern times, the Florida citrus industry had become a giant, producing over 1 ounces of fruit each year. The red man's Sundrop was now the fruit of health to the millions who had inherited his land. These are the finest groves in the world, Florida orange groves. millions upon millions of glorious trees, billions of golden oranges, beautiful, delicious oranges, laden with vitamin C. Other vital, health-giving here are 12 fresh oranges. Yes, the juice of a dozen oranges in a little frozen block only 2 inches wide. Nothing is added, only the natural water is removed. You just put the water back to get all the fresh flavor, all the vitamins and nourishing food value of freshly picked oranges. To this is something that has to be seen to be believed. Let's find out how it's done. Come with me and see how Minute Maid, the world's largest producer of frozen orange concentrate, transforms those 12 golden spheres into one little 6-ounce can of concentrated health and energy. After passing maturity tests to ensure high quality, the fruit is unloaded onto the conveyor belts, which carry it into the plant. Anyone for a bath? I can assure you there never was a cleaner mother's darling. And away they go, skipping along on their way to the graters. Only premium oranges get past these graters, whose experienced eyes see the minutest flaw. High-speed extractors halve the oranges and gently remove the rich, vitamin-packed juice. And here is the process of concentration, where only water is removed juice, leaving all the vital health benefits intact. This is the basic step which emphasizes the Grove fresh taste of frozen concentrate. Unprocessed, freshly extracted juice is blended with golden syrupy concentrate in these huge tanks. It's liquid with all the bouquet of the freshly squeezed juice, flows through special refrigeration equipment, and is cooled by quick freezing of sherbet just prior to packaging. And now the final step, when the rich golden magic liquid is poured into the millions of steam sterilized cans, eventually to find their way to you and to millions of others in homes throughout the nation. The orange, because of its delicate and health-giving contents, is always pampered and treated in a manner worthy of its star billing. The government of the United States plays a part in assuring the capture of the sun god. Inspectors from the U.S. Department of Agriculture take samples of the freshly made concentrate every hour for careful analysis. Citrus scientists play their part too, assuring you a wealth of vitamin C the year round. Miracle vitamin is essential for strong, healthy, for sturdy bones, healthy tissue, and for proper growth and...
Wow. And then it just kind of ends. Sorry about that. I mean, I don't know if you could tell. So on the left side, there was a lot of kind of like junk that was kind of going past. That was what we call perfix tape. What happens is motion picture film has perforations. I have like a visual thing here. They have little perfs. I don't know if you can see. So there's a soundtrack and then perf. So the perfs can get torn. Usually when someone runs a projector and they're not keeping an eye on it and it loses its loop, then it just tears into the film. So one way to fix it is to use this perfix tape, which is basically like a long, slim thing of tape that has little tiny holes, and you're supposed to line them up. You have this device and you try to line it up. I actually have that device. I've never had luck doing it, and because what happens is the film begins to shrink, the perfix tape like slides. So with this film, you saw a lot of splices, and also the frame was rolling, and that's because of the shrinking of the tape. So now that we have a film scanner, it's easier to handle films that have torn sprockets. But believe it or not, Perfix actually makes it worse. So I don't know. You got to see some assembly line footage of them making a frozen juice concentrate and women in a lab holding up test tubes with orange juice. That was, for me, that's the money shots. Like I say, I enjoy showing these films to you from different times and different places. It gets your brain into different spaces, and that one is glorious. The whole thing about the Native Americans and the people dressing up and the Spanish settling in Spain and all that stuff is fascinating. This next film is straight up 70s and features a person that was popular in the 60s and 70s. 80s, not so much. Anyways, he's brilliant. I actually have thought about doing a show of just films featuring him. This is Jonathan Winters in Pitch In.
Pretty neat, huh? Hi, I'm Jonathan Winters, and this is a pitch-in mobile. I guess it's pretty easy to see why it's called a pitch-in mobile. You're right. It's to remind everybody to pitch in. Now, I suppose there are some of you who don't really know what pitch-in is all about. Well, that's why I'm here to tell you. Pitch-in means putting litter, like that paper cup I just threw in the basket, where it belongs. Or if you're in a car, pitch in litter bags. Now, maybe you're thinking about what good does pitch-in do? Well, it's a good question. You've heard of pollution of the air and pollution of our water. Well, litter is nothing more than pollution of our land. So when you and I pitch in, we're really doing two things. First, we're doing something to get rid of pollution. And second, we're helping our city with the big cleaning job. It has to change waste into usable energy. You know, when you think about it, pitch in is like playing on a team, which means we all have to work together to keep our neighborhood and our city clean. Because the cleaner it is, the nicer it is to play in, and the better it is to live in. And pitch in is really a pretty easy thing to do, especially when everybody pitches in. But there are a few characters I know, and maybe you know a few yourself, who haven't yet gotten into the pitch-in spirit. Well, it's up to you and me to set them straight. Let me show you 4 of the worst litter bugs that dirty up our streets and parks and spoil things for the rest of us. Here's the first guy, Billy Joe Hardbody. You see, Billy Joe thinks and thinks that pitching in isn't anything for tough guys to do. Take a look at Billy Joe. He's something else.
Yeah. I'm Billy Joe Hardbody, and I'm tough, see? I ain't afraid of nothing. Us tough guys can do anything we want. Like dirtying up the streets. These here parks. Throwing trash all over the place. Let somebody else pick it up, huh? So if you want to join my gang, this is how you live. Like a pig, huh? What do I care? This place is... Let it be a dump. Won't mean nothing to me. Shut up, Charlie. I'll drop you like a bad habit. This stuff is lousy. Whew. Park's filthy, huh? Get out of here, all you guys. Where's the... That means motorcycles.
Boy, Billy Joe really needs some straightening out, doesn't he? I mean, like thinking about somebody else should clean up his mess. Well, we'll take care of him later. Right now, I want to show you another litter bug we're after. He's called Choo-Choo. But Choo-Choo's problem is that he doesn't think the little pieces of paper he throws on the ground amount to much. But they do.
Hi, Mr. Winters. You old 47-year-old man. Oh, hi there. Would you like a stick of gum? Or maybe a candy bar? Oh, that's all right. I have more for myself then. Boy, I sure love candy and gum. I love them more than anything else in this whole world. Except maybe my gum and candy belts here. Why, do you know they can hold over 100 sticks of gum and candy bars? Look, these are so many. And that much can last me at least an hour or two. Want to know a secret? Some kids around here say I'm a litter bug. Now, how can I be a litter bug? Just by throwing away these little teensy, tiny little wrappers, huh? I mean, they're so small. How can they dirty up anything? I think they're just jealous. They don't have as much gum and candy as I do.
I think you can see from Choo Choo here that even the smallest pieces of litter, like wrappers from gum, candy, and ice cream, should be thrown away properly, or else they can pile up into a pretty ugly mess of trash. Now let's look at another character. He's called Boom Boom Bailey. Now, Boom Boom tries making a game out of pitch-in, but his problem is he never plays by the rules.
Hello there. I'm Boom Boom Bailey. Someday, I'm going to be a great big basketball star. Pay attention. Just watch this jump shot. See, I'm faking the guy. Faked him out. Shoot. Oh, shoot. I guess I got to work on that jump shot a little bit. You know what a kid called me the other day? I want to tell you what he called me. He called me a litter bug. Now, what a thing to call a guy, especially a coach. I'm just practicing, that's all. That's what it's all about. Just practicing. No harm in that, is there? Watch this shot. It's going to be a dandy. I'm going to make it this time. Well, you can't play with paper anyway.
I'll tell you something. If Boom Boom really wants to be a big star, the first thing he's going to have to do is to learn how to pitch in. Because pitching in is nothing more than everybody working together, whether it's making a championship team or keeping our city clean. Now, the last guy I want to tell you about is this clown here, Lazy Legs Lardo. His problem is he's just too lazy to put his trash where it belongs. This guy is Mr. Filth, Mr. Trash. Look at him over there.
I don't know why folks call me Lazy Legs Lardo. Maybe you heard some of them say I don't pitch in because I'm lazy. Well, I ain't lazy. Maybe just a little tired, that's all. Oh, I can tell you that's hard work. I think maybe I'll rest a spell. If only that pitch-in basket wasn't so far away.
Well, there they are, the Filthy Four, some of the worst litter bugs in America.
Calling pitch-in mobile number 1. Come in.
Pitch-in mobile number 1 reporting.
The Filthy Four have been spotted littering the north end of the park. Proceed with caution. They are armed with litter and considered dangerously dirty.
Okay, I'm on my way. Say, how would you kids like to help me get the Filthy Four to pitch in?
Yeah!
Okay, yeah, that was real good. Okay, now, when you find them, what are you going to tell them to do?
Pitch in!
I'm with you. Right on. Watch yourself.
Hey, Billy Joe, don't you know how to pitch in?
Yeah, I know how to pitch in. But I don't want to pitch in. This pitching in is for sissies and weaklings. Not for tough guys like me.
What do you think about pitch in now, Billy Joe?
Well, like I say, pitching in is beautiful. It's just beautiful. What neighborhood are you from, kid?
Choo-choo, don't you know how to pitch in?
Well, what the heck? These are just teensy-teensy pieces of paper. What can they hurt? Besides, there's no pitch-in basket around here.
What do you think that is?
What? My gosh, that's a wire basket. But what does that say?
It says pitch in. When you don't see a pitch in basket, just hold on to it until you see a pitch in basket and throw it away. You can do that.
You're right. Now, never throw anything ever again on the ground. Boy, we've got to get busy here and pick this up and put it in there. Yeah.
Hey, Boom, how's it going?
Huh?
Where are you? Oh, that's okay. I just need a little more practice.
You know, it would help if you followed through on those shots, like this. And if you miss the shot, just come in like this, pick it up, pitch it in, like that.
Hey, I get you. Just kind of dunk it in, right?
Right.
Hey, you know, this pitching's gonna be okay, kid. You're all right. Watch this. Not bad, huh? 47 years old.
I can't believe one person can make such a big mess. Don't you know how to pitch in?
Yeah, but I just don't feel like it.
Well, you've got to at least try. I need some help.
Did I hear somebody call for help? Who is that old bat?
Well, it's Maud Fricker.
What's going on here?
I'm trying to get Lazy Legs Lardo to pick up his miss and pitch in.
You leave it to me, dearie. I used to get the mister up every day for 37 years. And sometimes you have to do it with a little sweet talk. Get up, you clown. Get up and pitch in, or I'll take my cane and use your head for a wiffle ball. I think I made that boy into a one-man pitch-in army. How about it, Johnny? You need any more help?
No thanks, Maud. I really appreciate your help. Well, thanks to everybody pitching in, my job is done. I just hope you all remember what went on here today. If you want your neighborhood clean, your parks clean, your whole city clean, and nicer to play into, it means that everybody has to work together and do what, gang? Right.
It's so good to see the green grass grow again. After years of being careless, now the folks seem to know it's time to pitch in. Time to pitch in. We can breathe a fresher air. There's more beauty everywhere, 'cause more people seem to care. They're all pitching in. We've got to pitch in to clean up America. We've got to pitch in to clean up America. And if everybody keeps pitching in, we can call on America, America the beautiful, once again. Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. Such a great film. 70s, man. It just kind of, it's right there. It's right there. Like, it just kind of starts warming up that jingle. I love it, personally, but, you know. Okay, so a lot of people look to educational films to teach them different things. This last film, of course, was a campaign, very popular anti-litter campaign from the 70s. Jonathan Winters is so great. I have a couple of films with him, and I have one that I've digitized, which is a ludicrous film about carpeting that he did. Maybe I'll show that in the next couple of days, or maybe next week. Excuse me. So anyways, this next film shows us how to be a friend. And I think it's made in the early 80s. It kind of has that look. Late 70s, early 80s. So, how to be a friend.
Use this leader to focus the picture and adjust the sound volume. The film will then be ready for correct projection.
What do we mean by the word friendship? I remember reading somewhere that Ralph Waldo Emerson said, "The only way to have a friend is to be one." Well, maybe we all have our own meaning. But what about making friends? And just as important, keeping them.
What is friendship? Well, for one thing, friendship is sharing. Sharing activities, interests, or even different opinions.
Here, let me show you. It's kind of tricky.
Friends offer something to each other. Hey, I guess it's all in knowing how.
Friendship is sharing. Friendship is sharing. A friendship is people together and caring.
A real friendship helps us grow as a person because it's based on trust and respect for each other.
How are you doing?
Well, I wrote this composition. Do you think you could give me your honest opinion on it?
I was glad to help Trish. She sure helped me with my composition.
I have a feeling this isn't quite right here.
You know, you should switch these two around.
Trust and respect, respect and trust. A friendship must have respect and trust.
Where to meet new people is easy. Interesting people are everywhere. But how do you make friends?
It might mean that you have to make the first move. You can't always expect the other person to. Some people are shy or not very outgoing. By introducing yourself, you might open up a whole new world that didn't exist before. That's how I met Brenda.
Hi. You look puzzled. What's the subject?
Algebra 2. I'm having trouble with logarithms.
Oh, they can be tough. I had that class last semester. Let's see if I can help you.
Gee, thanks. That'd be great. In getting to know people, be understanding of the way they might be different from you, just as we'd expect others to be understanding of us. Jean and I are really good friends, but we have different ideas on a lot of things.
You know, Brenda, I think it'd look better if it was a little longer.
Could be, but I think I like it the way it is, since it is a summer dress.
Well, I'm not sure I agree, but that's how we'll do it.
Friends share their secrets, fears, doubts, hopes, because they know a friend will respect their thoughts or offer sincere advice.
Well, Trish, all you have to do is ask her if she really said it.
Yeah, I guess the simplest way's the best.
Sure, Trish. Then you'll get it straightened out.
I think I'll talk to her.
Sure.
Sharing our secrets, our hopes and doubts, a friendship lets our feelings come out.
A friend can offer a different point of view or new information on something that we might not see on our own. Friends help us to learn.
Since we're working on your bike, we might as well oil the chain. It'll ride quieter, and it'll keep it from rusting.
That's a good idea. I never thought of that. I should really do it more often.
Here, let me show you the way I do it.
Great.
Learning and growing, mutual and sharing, a friendship is people together and caring.
Many people limit their friendships without realizing it. They miss many possibilities with excuses like, she's too old, or he's not my type. It's true that not everyone can be a best friend, but those kinds of excuses close off chances for new friendships. You don't know unless you try, and you may be surprised at the friends you'll make and the things you'll learn.
Here's the camera I used to use.
Wow.
I would like you to see some of the pictures I took with it.
Oh, great. Boy, these are nice.
Nothing let me feel it. See how clear they are.
Those are nice.
Aren't they beautiful?
Yes.
That little boy, he won't be forgotten, I guess. Well, he's getting older. He's getting older. Just look there. Isn't that comical?
Yeah.
That's just some picture. And here's where I used to go to school.
A friendship works both ways. One person doesn't rule over the other. They respect each other's rights.
Brenda! Brenda.
Hi. Since you're going that way, I was wondering if you could drop this off at the library deposit for me. It's due today, and it looks like I won't be able to make it.
Gee, I'd really like to, Jean, but I have to catch the bus downtown. It'd be out of my way enough that I might miss the bus.
No problem. I should have done it yesterday. I'll see you later, then.
Bye, Jean.
Bye-bye.
A friendship is equal one to another. A friendship does not obligate one another.
Keeping friends is something that has to be worked at. For instance, I keep in touch with friends who have moved away, even if it's just a note to say hi.
It doesn't take much to keep in touch between friends.
Friends show their concern and support for each other. Just being nearby can be enough. As when Jeff was sick one time.
Hi, Jeff. How you doing?
Don, hello. I think I'll live.
Here, I brought you a magazine.
Thanks.
Listen, you better get well soon. We got a big football game coming up.
Concern and caring, friends grow together by mutually sharing.
Jean and I respect each other's privacy.
Would it be okay if you didn't come over tonight? I have some things to do that really can't wait.
Sure. Call me tomorrow. We can get together then.
Great. I'll see you for lunch. Friends are able to let each other go if the time comes. People change over the years, and sometimes you may no longer have the same interests. Shelley and I were able to admit this. It's better to remember the good friendship we had in the past, instead of trying to force it to still be in the present. People change and needs change. Friends give thoughtful help when it's needed. Just because Brenda didn't ask for it, didn't mean that she couldn't use it. Say, Brenda, a bunch of us are going to the park. I stopped by to see if you'd like to come along.
I'd love to, Jean, but I told my mom I'd have the kitchen cleaned before she got home.
Oh. Well, I'll help, and then we can both go.
That'd be great. Thanks, Jean. Why don't you grab a towel?
All right.
Friends understand when a helping hand could mean a lot to someone.
Friends are truthful, but polite with each other. They can be open and honest, and know that the other person will understand. You know, you were kind of rude to Bob the other day, Don. He was a little upset.
How do you mean?
Well, the argument you had at the meeting. He had a point to make, and you weren't listening.
Yeah, I guess I did get pretty loud.
Maybe you should call him up. He thinks you're mad at him.
Yeah, I think I will. Thanks.
Friends are truthful with each other.
A good friend is patient and sensitive. When Tricia's father was in the hospital a few months ago, she was pretty upset.
Sometimes I just feel like I don't care about my classes or anything. You know, it's hard to take.
Sure it is. I know how you feel, Trish.
Yeah. I guess you know how it is. I remember when your mom got in that car accident.
Sure, things work out. Come on, let's go have lunch. Come on.
I think it was the English poet Samuel Johnson who wrote, "To let a friendship die away by negligence and silence is certainly not wise."
Friendship isn't something to take for granted. It's an active process, a growth between other people and ourselves.
It requires effort on our part to make friends, to keep friends, and above all, to be a friend.
Oopsie. I was putting together a printer. One second. Sorry about that. Yeah, I got a printer so I can print on DVDs. I'm getting some orders from DVDs thanks to people visiting avgeeks.com. Also, some people are donating via Patreon, and they get you have an option of getting DVDs as a premium for donating, and those are great ways to support AV Geeks in the future. So consider that. Yeah, that last film, boy, 1970s, that kind of folksy. I feel like it's kind of late in the period for that type of music, but you know, whatever. But definitely like some Friends and some that fashion at that time, 1977. It's definitely people my age in there. All right, so tomorrow, join us for lunch, and we will see some more films. Somebody talked about stolen bikes in one of the comments. I might see if I can find some films about stolen bikes or bikes in general. Maybe that's what we'll do tomorrow. Tomorrow will be bike-centric. I have several films about bikes that I think you guys will dig. One last film to show before we say goodbye. This is a film that watching Jonathan Winters with those giant cans of beer made me think like, oh yeah, I definitely want to show this film. I like this film because it's made for a very specific audience, people that own convenience stores, and it's about checking IDs and not selling to underage people. And I think at the time you could drink beer at age 18, depending on the state. But yeah, so this is about how and why it's important to check IDs and how to deal with customers who are trying to fake IDs or trying to buy beer when they're obviously too young. It's really fascinating. It's called Case for Beer. Enjoy.
The game is over. Who's the loser? You are. You can be fined up to $1,000, or lose your beer license, or... That hurts. Beer is one of the most important products you sell because 2 out of 3 families use beer as a beverage. 2 out of 3. The U.S. drinks 1.5 billion cases a year. That's enough to fill a tank the size of a football field 15 miles high. A big sip of it comes through convenience stores. They depend on it to stay in business. The average store sells about $30,000 worth a year. But beer's not the only thing involved here. Chances are you will sell related items. Chips, chip dip, snack foods, and picnic supplies. And also non-related items, milk, bread, and who knows what. This is the way the store stays in business. Some young people would play games with your license. If you're careful, you get to keep it. If not, you're stuck with peanuts. It's not a game you want to lose. You have only 2 cards to play with: valid identification and good judgment. But not a bad hand when you think about it. Take identification, for instance. And a common driver's license is the best form of identification. Best if laminated. If not, it can be altered. Check this one closely. Does the description match? It doesn't always. In running a bluffa, a person may wrinkle and soil his card. That's a good trick. It obscures alterations and makes it hard to read. If in doubt, ask for more ID, such as a selective service card, liquor purchase card, or anything federal or state in Oregon. The third group of numbers from the left is the year of birth. See anything wrong here? There is one other good identification card, the military ID card, complete with picture and description. You know, some kids get pretty good at the game of deception, but employees get good at detecting their little games because they know their business is or those who try to hide their age. Don't allow yourself to be distracted. Well, he checked everything but her age. Be careful of women. Some have cheating hearts. And they're hard to detect. And hard to deny.
No, I left my driver's license at home, along with my draft card. I have my student identification card.
It is state law that I have some identification with your age on it. And
my picture's there, And there's my classification school sophomore, which would be evident that I'm a...
okay?
I'm sorry, but state law requires that I have to have an identification with your age on it.
Well,
Law
that's
purposes.
silly.
Sir,
We were
I
just in here.
Yeah, I was in here Saturday, right? And we bought a couple six-packs, and it didn't have any trouble.
What's the
They
big
didn't
deal
ask you
now?
for an ID
No,
then?
he didn't ask me for an identification.
Well, we usually do, and...
You don't believe I'm 18?
I'm a poor judge of age. I need some valid identification.
Okay, well, my father comes in here, he's like 45, and he doesn't have his identification with him. He can't buy the beer.
Well, like I said, I could tell someone who's 45, but with you, I'd like to have some identification with your
I
age.
really feel insulted. I really do.
Well, this not only protects us, but it also protects you.
I really don't.
Those who protest the most are usually underage. Don't give in to poor logic.
Listen, sir.
You'll still have their business. Americans love their leisure time. And convenience stores with their quick shopping supply of beverages and related foods contribute to the nation's enjoyment of leisure time. Some stores report that beer amounts to as much as 20% of their total volume. That's good business. You can strengthen your hand by carefully checking ID on doubtful customers, by being courteous and friendly, and by cooperating with local law enforcement officials. Remember, the only way to play this game is according to Hoyle, and your best bet is to obey the law. This film is for informational purposes only and does not purport to give legal advice. Since laws may vary from state to state, you are cautioned to obtain legal guidance concerning local laws.
Stash trash. That was another public plea to not litter. That was probably not as successful as Pitch In. One of the things I like about that film is it shows somebody using an old pull tab to get relish out of a jar in a picnic setting. Necessity being the mother of invention. Anyhow, thanks for tuning in, and we will see you again tomorrow. And yeah, I think I'll show a bunch of films about bikes. I've also reached out to someone who was in one of the educational films that I have, and he's going to join us hopefully next Friday, not this Friday, because it's his birthday. So that will be, I'll talk more about that next week. And also I might have a couple of other guests. Just as a reminder, I'll be doing something with NC State's Hunt Library tomorrow with an expert. We're going to be watching some drug films. I've kind of not been showing drug films For whatever reason, surprisingly, they're not my favorite genre. And I can talk more about that tomorrow. Everybody have a good rest of the day. I'm going to be on a roof with a chainsaw, so I'll be safe because I want to see you again tomorrow. Everybody, take care. See you soon.